are the top 9 worst marketing blunders of all time. And I guarantee you have not seen at least some of these. And I guarantee at least one of them is going to shock you. One such example is here right now. Perrin, can you break this one down for us? I was blown away that this was actually an advertisement run by Sony. Not safe for work, maybe? Because it's so freaking racist? Take a look at this ad by Sony. Yeah. Break it down for us, man.
So I didn't even know about this one until we were doing research for this episode, and we found that this happened. But anyway, PlayStation was marketing their the PSP White version, and this is the ad that ended up on billboards in different places that came out, and everyone was like, "Wait, what? Who approved this? Who thought this was going to be okay?" And you've got a white woman dressed in white choking out a black woman dressed in black. Clearly, this is not
oh my God.
to. Like, I don't know how this got approved by anybody whatsoever at the head of their marketing department, but somehow it got through, and people, they approved it, and it went out, and there was a huge backlash.
PlayStation White portable is coming is the copy here. I mean, coming. I'm sorry. Been watching too much Twitch and talking with you guys too much. And the actual product is just in the corner down here. This teeny little product in the corner. 99% of the ad is a white woman choking out a black woman to sell a video game console. Maybe not the best move. This is just one shocking blunder on our list. We've got a lot more. This one just on its surface is like ridiculous. We've got a bunch of fun ones. Xbox One reveal, Dota Artifact being shut down, fake trailers, loot boxes, ridiculous Han Solo dances, you name it. It's going to be hilarious and shocking. And anybody who's ever done marketing or is a creator, you've got to watch this episode all the way through so you can make sure you can avoid these marketing pitfalls. Please don't do any of these things. Let's pay the bills.
This podcast is sponsored by Restream. Why live stream to one platform when you can simultaneously live stream to every platform to discover new audiences faster using Restream.io?
Really easy question, boys. Do you guys have phones?
I don't.
You don't sound very excited about having a phone right now.
I don't have a phone. No.
Oh man, this takes us back to the Diablo Immortal announcement. This happened at, was it BlizzCon 2018?
Yeah,
BlizzCon 2018 is when everybody was expecting this Diablo 4 announcement. Everybody was expecting some, PC or platform Diablo game, and they come out with Diablo Immortal. And to the surprise of the people on the stage, nobody gave a shit at all. Nobody cared at all, to the point where he literally turns around and asks, "You guys not have phones?" As if that's supposed to excite us.
Perrin, can you just read us the transcript of this marketing moment? And we're going to break this down just a little bit further for people that just heard the headlines, so everyone can understand what the actual marketing blunder here was. A lot of people just kind of heard the headline, they're like, "Oh, Blizzard screwed up." There's a very specific ways that they screwed up. We're going to break that down as marketing executives and senior marketing managers. Break it down for us, buddy. Here's the clip.
So here's Lord Fluffy. He's a prominent creator in the Diablo community. He's getting up here asking, are there any plans to make this playable on PC, or is this strictly mobile forever? Are there any... He's like, yeah, this is the current plan, is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. And then boos across the audience. You can see the pause there. And he's like, did you guys not have phones? Yeah, you guys.
Oh no, they asked if they had phones. Go to the moment where Ryan Wyatt, and he seems like a really nice guy. Can you go to the moment? There's a moment there, like halfway through the clip, where he's like shocked. He has a Hold on, go forward just a little bit more. There's a moment when people boo and you see the shock on his face. And that moment. Hold on, it cuts right there when he gets shocked. There it is.
That's it.
That face right there is the face that you make. I'm zooming in on it, don't worry, I got the zoom. That's the face that you make when you know you done screwed up. And the screw up here with this marketing blunder was that they were addressing a PC and console audience, primarily PC, and telling them that they had to play the new Diablo game on mobile. And there was also another blunder there, right? What, Ross, weren't people anticipating Diablo 4 at this BlizzCon? And they were, like, it's an expectations versus reality issue with this, right?
Yeah, because this was about to, not quite. It was a little bit shorter of a time from from the time where they announced Diablo 2 to Diablo 3. So everyone's like, oh, here we are, 5-6 years later after Diablo 3 released for consoles, after released for PC, we're going to get another announcement for another Diablo game. And that was, and the thing is, where Blizzard actually went wrong is they never denied this. They really built this up like this was going to be a console or PC game. And then it turned out to be just mobile across the board. Blizzard completely fed in to the fact that everybody was expecting console and PC, and they fed into the fact that tried to convince people, yeah, you're probably going to get that, and then that just wasn't the case. And I think that's one of the most it was deafening from Blizzard, because people were so excited for that, and to have that kind of shoved back in their face after Blizzard kind of nudging like, maybe you're going to get it for console and PC, and then like, oh no, sorry.
We're sorry.
So sorry.
Let's break down the next blunder. We've got a bunch of fun ones here on the list. Let's hit them with it. I want people to see blunders they've never seen before on the show today. I think we got a couple good ones. What do you got next, man?
We do think we have No Man's Sky on the list, and this is one that actually probably everybody knows about now. But No Man's Sky was a classic overpromise, underdeliver. They said there were going to be multiplayer features at launch. There weren't. They said there's going to be all the stuff that was supposed to be in the game at launch, and it just wasn't there. It just wasn't there. It wasn't even close to what they promised. And so much so there was a huge outcry. Now, Hello Games has since done a good job of coming back, actually a really good job of coming back and building it back up. And there's a great interview here that I've actually pulled up with Sean Murray, who is one of the people targeted by gamers, saying he's one of the head people that it's his fault because he's the one who overpromised. He's the one who got up, said all these things that were going to be amazing and happen, and they just didn't happen. And he actually went back, he did this interview, he went back and looked critically at everything he did, and they went back and they fixed the game. They made it pretty good. But at the time, this was one of the if not one of the biggest marketing blunders in the gaming industry.
Yeah, and for this one, I remember Sean Murray going on the late night shows. So for everybody out there that's like under 35, you probably don't watch them. I'm over 35, so I do. And he went on the late night shows, and he went on Colbert's late night show. It's the most popular late night show. It has like 2.5 million concurrent viewers. I'll put it in those terms every time he goes live on CBS. So it's a huge show. And he named a planet after Stephen Colbert. He talked about how it's going to be an infinite universe, how it's going to have multiplayer, and everyone in the audience was blown away. Colbert was hyped about it. He's not even a video game guy. And this guy, Sean Murray, his name was synonymous with basically just botched marketing campaigns and with being a villain in the gaming industry. But the good thing about this since then is they have totally redeemed themselves. Ross, I would say No Man's Sky is now synonymous with only good things in terms of PR, right?
Yeah, and it didn't take very long. This is a redemption story. Like, I feel bad even putting the word blunder next to Hello Games and No Man's Sky. We have to, because it is one of the most botched launches of all time. We have to call it what it is.
It sure was, yeah.
But now, 2 years after, first of all, they started immediately releasing new content. And within 2 years, everything that they had promised and more was then in the game. And the game now is light years beyond what they promised. It's actually a really, really fun game. Hello Games really redeemed themselves on this one. They owned up to their mistake. They came out and said, hey, we really messed this one up. We're going to make it right. And then they did. We don't see a lot of that nowadays. I mean, I'm just looking at BioWare with Anthem, where they don't even say anything for 2 years. And then we can go into EA for the rest of the episode about times that they've done that and then never corrected their mistake. Hello Games came in and immediately redeemed themselves. So if we ever do a redemption list, they're going to be number one on it.
Makes sense.
For any company releasing any product, not just gaming. Like Hello Games, I can't wait to see what future projects they're going to be working on now, because they've learned from their mistake. They've made it obvious that they've learned from their mistake, and they're likely not going to make the same mistake again.
We all hope when a game gets botched that they will No Man's Sky. Like, that's what we hope now, is that they will get the game. I'm hoping that Cyberpunk 2077 No Man's Skies at this point and makes a comeback. That's what we all hope. Marketing blunder averted, but boy, was that launch terrible. Let's move on to the next blunder, though. Do you have a next one on the list for us? Hit me with it.
I know you love this one, AWOL. the fake Anthem trailer.
Oh, this one's so painful. Here, let me break this one down. Just go ahead and play the trailer, and let's just talk about this trailer.
First of all, I want to keep it on this caption real quick, because everything you're about to see, it was captured in game, running in real time. Like they took the time to like blatantly lie in the very beginning, and they kept this going for like 5 seconds. All right.
Everything you're about to see is real, is the way the trailer starts. I watched this Anthem trailer, seriously. I mean, this might sound pathetic. I don't know. I watched this Anthem trailer about 25 to 30 times. I'm not joking. I was anticipating this game so much. And I created YouTube content about this game. I live streamed this game. I was the #1 streamer for this game. And I was planning on maybe making a real go at this as a full-time content creator. And this fake Anthem trailer got everybody unbelievably excited because the graphics that you saw in the trailer were beyond anything anyone had ever seen before, honestly. And here, let me pull it up next to me. There we go. Perfect. It was beyond anything anybody ever seen before. And nobody could believe that this was going to be possible on normal consoles, and that the gameplay promises they were making could happen. You're going to have this big, gorgeous next-gen universe. You're going to have drop-in, drop-out gameplay with your friends. They literally show that here in the gameplay with your friends dropping in to play with you. And then the story and the universe that they had set up here in the trailer was just unbelievable. And everything about what you're seeing here is completely fake, because when you actually play the game, like this, even the city that you're looking at here, the detail with the fire, the number of javelins that are around, the number of people in the city, the level of detail with everything, the frame rate, everything that they're promising with the voiceover, almost all of it fell short and was just fake. And what was crazy about this later on is there was an expose that came out by Jason Schreier and others that literally exposed the fact that they spent significant amount of resources in their company to create this fake trailer, and nobody even knew what the game was going to be like until the people at BioWare saw the trailer. That's how fake this was. The people making the actual game didn't even know that this was what the game looked like until this fake trailer came out. That is about as fake as it possibly gets. And you saw that footage that just happened just there with this javelin right here. By the way, this game has been canceled in case you didn't already know. It came out and then it bombed. But he walked out of the city. He got into his javelin. He walked out of the plank. He went out here to jump off the edge to go out into the open world, and then just seamlessly is now flying around in the world. Look at all these animals and these birds. Those are not in the game. And this whole seamless open world kind of experience that they pitched right here and that they're showing didn't actually happen in the game. What actually happened in the game was massive loading screens. Even on high-end PC, you were stuck loading for 4 minutes. But in the trailer, it showed real footage of the game, of him just getting in the javelin, walking out the door, and just jumping right into the gameplay. But it actually took 4 minutes to get into the gameplay. Everything about it was fake. And man, did the gaming industry dunk on this one. Any other extra thoughts on this?
No.
You covered it pretty well.
It's fake,
it's
fake,
sad.
fake.
It's really sad. This is because so what you're saying, none of the animals and all this that we're seeing in this trailer right now ever made the game. Like this is just 100% fake.
No, like some of the assets in here made it, but the level that they are showing it at did not occur in the game. So for example, in the city, when they're in the city sequence earlier, if you want to back it up toward the beginning of the trailer, I just want to make it clear. Pause right here. Do you see how jam-packed with activity the city is? There's vendors, it's dirty, there's pots and pans everywhere, there's people walking everywhere. It looks alive. People are talking, they're selling goods. Go ahead and hit play. When you actually go into the game, it's actually just like a barren, and look, there's a moving freaking there's moving like objects outside of the, look at the level of detail, the people in the background. When you actually play the actual game, there's like 4 vendors sitting to the side in a barren city. And you just walk up to the NPCs and hit X to talk to them. It's not this living, breathing city. It's not even close. It's like 20% of what you see here. So it's not like
this character's like facial animations and with the way his mouth moves and his face moves while he's talking was really, really good. It's better than most games. So that alone would have been like huge.
That didn't happen in the game. Like this guy talking this well in the game, talking to you directly while there's action going on in the background, that never happened in the game. It was all like you go talk to an NPC in a barren area where it's just the two of you so it can keep the frame rate high. And then you just have normal NPC conversations with people. So kind of what they pitched here in the trailer was like, I guess, quote unquote, a vision of what the game would be like. But when they started the trailer, they said this is the way the game actually is. And that was the big marketing blunder. Let's move on to the next one.
All right, Valve announces their new game Artifact. You guys remember this? This was also in 2018, I believe. Or no, sorry, this was in 2017. Yeah, 2017 that this blunder happened. How did this one go about?
Yeah, so this one was at the International. I know you're a Dota fan, but this was at the International. They played this trailer right here, and they built it up as being this big announcement for the Dota franchise. And so everybody at the International, if you guys are not already aware, the International is like the biggest, esports event every single year in terms of prize pool. And then they dropped this trailer, and people are like, oh, it's going to be amazing. It's a card game. Bum, 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 bum.
And then there were like huge boos throughout the audience because this was,
the audience booed the actual announcement here. Like they went, once again, it was a similar mistake as the Blizzard announcement, right, guys? They had a PC audience that was a hardcore PC audience, and then they're like, basically it was like a, do you not guys not have phones moment where like, are you excited about this mobile game? Nobody was excited to dump microtransactions into some mobile game. It's a hardcore PC esports audience. It's a classic mistake of misunderstanding your audience, right, Ross?
Yeah, that's it. This would be essentially as if Blizzard did this with Diablo and they released like Solitaire, but it was just like on the face of the cards had the Blizzard characters. And they're like, "Are you guys not excited for this? Like, we're gonna make so much money. It's not gonna do anything for you. It's not even gonna excite you. But are you excited?"
Yes, we're so excited.
It's just reading the room wrong. But it's even more than that. It's reading the room wrong for years while you're producing this game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, did it no point during production did it come up like did a developer or anything just kind of go to one of the higher ups and be like, I don't think this is a good idea. Like this just does not feel like it's going to work. And they're like, no, I promise, we've got this under control. People need card games. Like,
Perrin.
Valve barely ever releases games, and then this is what they come out with. Like it's been at that time in 2017, it had been a while since they'd released something good, and the next one they're going to come out with as a card game. And at that time, everybody was doing card games. Like gamers were sick of card games.
CD Projekt Red was doing. Is that the same time when the Gwent card game came out for?
It might have been. Yeah, I think it might have been around that time.
It was actually fun. Like that one actually did well. CD Projekt Red did.
That one is still kicking today, and they're still doing massive updates. It's a big part of CD Projekt Red's strategy. But let's take a look at the Insider article here. What it's saying here is before the teaser trailer was revealed, it was announced as Valve's next game. See, here's the issue. When you say you have a next game and then you're telling a PC esports audience that it's a next game, they're going to think it's a PC esports game. And if it's anything but a PC esports game, they're going to freaking hate it. And so you need to, if you're going to tease a announcement, tease a next mobile game, or tease, if you think mobile game is going to be too derogatory, tease a next card game or something. Like give people the heads up. This ain't going to be a PC esports game. You know what I mean? That's the issue. It's all expectation setting and botching it when it comes to reality. It sucks. You know what, Ross?
Yeah?
There's a lot of streamers and creators watching us right now on Trovo, on DLive, on Periscope, even on YouTube, and hell, they're even watching us on Twitch right now. How is it possible for us to be streaming on multiple platforms at the same time and growing our audience? Is it possible for our audience to do the same thing?
Why, yes, AWOL, it is. We're using Restream.io. Stop streaming to one platform and start streaming to all of them. Like AWOL just said, we're on Trovo, we're on DLive. You've probably never even heard of those, but we're streaming on them, and we got people watching on them. And that's all that matters. We're building up our audience on every platform, YouTube, Facebook, gaming, even freaking Twitter. We're doing it all at the same time with the click of a button, going live on all these platforms, and you can do it too. I just dropped a link in the comments. Go there, get 30% off your first month using Restream.io. Perrin, what is next on this list?
That Xbox One reveal sure was a disaster, huh? Which is actually the name of Kotaku's article for it. This is now we get to go back a little bit farther, back into 2013, if you can remember what life was like back then. And
whoa, take us back in time.
We're in console war territory between the new PlayStation and the Xbox One. And there had been some concerns with the Xbox One, you know, particularly with the Kinect and how it was going to be tied to that, and how it had a camera that was always online that you couldn't really turn off. So was it going to spy on you?
Oh, I remember that. It was the like you couldn't go offline, and this was like the first time that people had to deal with the idea that games were going to be online all the time, and people were like flipping out online about that. It's now normal, but back then it was like a new idea, and people were like, "What? I want to just put a CD in my console." It was like a whole nother universe. Please continue.
The other big concern was backwards compatibility, and a lot of gamers. This was leading up to the big announcement, so this was kind of like rumor mongering, rumor mill. But the rumor had it that Xbox One was not going to be backwards compatible as well. That was a huge concern. And the thing that happened was, you know, they did a presentation. The controller looked great, but they didn't do anything to assuage these fears. They didn't do anything to like calm the fears. In fact, they stoked the fears by having really, really bad answers and having answers that didn't match what their corporate was saying on the main social media accounts and things like that. So the communication ended up just fueling the fires and making this into a bigger story where everyone came away from this launch basically saying, well, at least the controller looks cool because everything else is going to suck.
Yeah, what a total disaster. And weren't they positioning this Xbox announcement as a like media machine? I believe they were positioning it as like, this is going to be the ultimate console to play. Like they barely talked about games, right? And they were like, you're going to play movies and you're going to do all these things that had nothing to do with gaming. I remember that was like the point I'm trying to make is that was the main marketing message, is they were moved completely away from it being a gaming console to it being a media machine to play Blu-rays, to stream Netflix and things like that. And I remember they even showed like some cringy trailers of families in their living room being like, the dad like putting his arm around the kid and being like, hey son, are you here to enjoy some popcorn and watch a movie with me? And gamers were watching this announcement and going, what the F is this? And this was a pivotal moment. It was a pivotal change in how console marketing happened moving forward. After that, they ended up making every console announcement only about the games moving forward. Have you guys noticed that? They don't talk about them as media machines anymore. This announcement was so botched, it changed console marketing forever. I think that's the point I'm trying to get at. Like, if you mention Blu-ray, if you mention Netflix like one time in a console announcement, you're like, you're fired at that point because this announcement was so botched.
Yeah, from then on, it started to get into like even more like kind of nerdy about the specs of the system. You know, like how much, like what its graphical capabilities were, how many teraflops. Now it's how many teraflops it has, etc. Like that didn't used to be the thing. So back in 2013, I think this was coming off of the popularity of the Wii and how it went past gamers and sold to general family members. And Sony and Microsoft both wanted to be able to do that this time around. However, it didn't happen that way. It didn't happen the way that they thought it was going to happen. And because they tried to go too generic with their marketing, they ended up alienating actual gamers with it. And then they were confused and maybe even shocked by the negative reaction because they didn't see that coming.
They totally didn't see it coming. This next marketing blunder, we got to kick this one over to Ross because he's particularly infuriated by the fact that Cyberpunk can't even be purchased on Sony stores. You've always gotten fired up when we talked about this. You seem infuriated by what CD Projekt Red did, so why don't you cover this marketing blunder?
Yeah, okay, so we don't have to go into too much detail here. Essentially, CD Projekt Red released a product that should not have been released, and PlayStation said, hey, this should not be released, and we're going to pull it from our store because it's a total turd. And it's still not back on the PlayStation Store, by the way. And the way you talked about how the console marketing changed after Xbox big blunder. And by the way, you're right. There was not one mention going back. There was not one mention about Netflix or Blu-ray or any of that when they were doing the Xbox Series X. That's funny. But
it's all games. And remember, and also one other point. Sorry to derail you. They also moved toward. Remember, they then tripled down on, and we're funding indie devs, and we're like the good gaming guys, and like we're helping small studios because we're all about the games. And I watched a super cut of the future Xbox announcements and in press conferences, and they have like little counters there of how many times they mention games and gaming, and it's like 128 times. Like they try to cram in gaming as many times into the messaging, so it did change it. But back to you, Cyberpunk is still not for sale on the most popular console of all of our current generations. Yikes! That's bad, right?
That's a huge yikes. But what I was getting at, the way that you described how Xbox, that changed Xbox and console marketing forever, this changed marketing for gaming forever. Imagine the shit show that CD Projekt Red is going through. But also imagine what this means for every other company that's looking at this blunder, that's looking at what CD Projekt Red did. They have to be sitting back there and be like, okay, we have to be very careful now, because they pumped millions and millions of dollars into this game. Now, they made their money back because the marketing in itself, even though misleading, was good for Cyberpunk.
Oh, maybe the best ever.
Misleading.
Maybe the best ever.
It was maybe the best ever. It was just incredibly misleading. So now other companies are going to look at this and be like, we have to make sure that we don't do what CD Projekt Red did. CD Projekt Red, when you go back and you look at everything, it was pretty clear that they knew that this game was going to come out and this game was not ready to launch. That this game wasn't even close to being ready to launch. And they launched it anyway, using footage from a completed product that worked on previous gen consoles. That's not even, I don't even know if I consider that a blunder. That's just a straight up lie.
That's was a lie.
Cold, hard lie. So, I mean, we gave Hello Games and we gave No Man's Sky and Sean Murray, we gave them time to correct their mistake and make things right. As pissed off as I was and everybody else was about Cyberpunk, I think we do owe them the same amount of time to fix things and get it right. Now, the difference between that is the lack of communication. We had content released immediately for No Man's Sky. Hello Games was very transparent about how bad they messed up and everything like that. We've gotten very little from CD Projekt Red, but time will tell on this one. I hope this is a case where we look back and be like, wow, that really sucked, but it was actually beneficial in the long run to the gaming industry because of how games are marketed now. And they made things right. I hope we can say that. I hope we can say that.
I hope so too. Any final thoughts on this one, Perrin?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. I don't think they are going to be as gracious about accepting the wrongdoing as Sean Murray was.
No. They haven't been yet. You said I don't think they haven't been. They came out with a half apology and then blamed their QA department on why the game was busted. He's like, I take responsibility, but our QA department was the real reason. Please continue.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like they're gonna make like the full Hello Games reparations. I think they're gonna maybe do about 20% that direction, and it already looks like they're changing total directions. They're not gonna do Cyberpunk multiplayer now. They're going to go more towards their gaming tech, etc. Anyway, let's move on to another one. Well, I know you're a huge fan of this one. What is the drama around I'm Han Solo, this Kinect Star Wars song?
My gosh. Guys, look at your screen right now. Full screen this bad boy for us. I'm going to put on the voice changer. So this is Lando Calrissian, as you know, well-respected. Hold on a second. Is this Star Wars? Hold on. What were those Imperial... I guess they were like officers. Oh my God, it's Han Solo. He's coming up on stage to do a dance. Oh man.
This is so cringe.
And here it is. And let me turn on the voice changer. Can't stop a shine, love in Cloud City, my head's in the sky. I'm Solo, Han Solo, I'm Solo, Han Solo, Solo. Oh yeah, you're watching it right now. Awesome bonus score. Just snap your hands with your Kinect and your Han Solo can do the dances too. Yeah, Harrison Ford. For the love of God, Harrison Ford, if you ever saw this footage, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that they digitized your likeness and turned it into this. I'm Solo, Han Solo. I mean, when I saw this footage for the first time, I thought it was like a YouTuber had like animated this as like a parody video, right? Like there's no way this is real, but this is absolutely real. And it's just, and you can do this with the other characters in the game too, but it's particularly outrageous to watch Han Solo do it because he's like a bad boy ruffian character that in no universe would do any of this stupid garbage. And so like if Leia does this, whatever, I guess. If Luke does it, okay. But Han Solo, he's a bad boy. Not today. Not today, my friends. And now Lando has to come out there and battle him.
Uh-oh. What is going on with this? Is so cringe.
R2's doing a dance.
Oh
my gosh. Have you guys, I hope everyone, if they have not seen this, Google I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo Kinect. Oh my God, now they're gonna botch Lando Calrissian as well. Let's just watch it. Here you go. I joined the Alliance. It feels so good. Stop this feeling misunderstood. I mean, look at these incredible lyrics as well. I mean, oh God, watch it. Just some of the moves when you watch Lando do it, you're like, how is this even possible that this happened? I cannot believe it, guys. Any other reactions here? When I watch this footage, I just think like, the people developing this game, when they look, he's doing the Falcon in flight move. Look at this. It's the
they named like the different moves, like after Star Wars, the trash compact.
The trash compact.
There's one that's like the Chewie hug. Like they named the.
No, I missed that.
The double blaster.
The double blaster. It's so good. It's so good. Oh my God, look at this.
Yeah, I'm sure Harrison Ford is
not a
crying
scratch.
into his millions of dollars.
Not a scratch. Wow. So anyway, I don't think we need to like really analyze this marketing disaster. You're just
not.
Our audience just looked at the disaster like just straight. And look at the top. Hold on, we gotta go over. Read us some top comments here, Perrin.
All right, the top comment. This was 5 years ago. This is probably the best, worst thing ever.
Keep going.
I stabbed in the chest. I'm falling off the side. Chewie screaming. Rey's about to cry. I'm Solo. Han Solo. Han Solo. Solo.
Awesome.
Do you think they played this at his funeral? The whole thing was just so very cringe, and I think that's why it is a marketing blunder. Let's move on to the last one, guys, and we're going to continue on the Star Wars train of things. And I know this one is near and dear to all of our hearts. The Star Wars loot box fiasco.
Jeez, you want to talk about one that changed the gaming industry forever and changed gaming marketing forever. This is why we saved it for last. This is, I think, the biggest, in my opinion, this is the biggest marketing blunder of all time, by far, bar none. So just some premise here, and I'll let you guys break down the rest of it. The gaming industry right now is built now majority, obviously, on online and in majority on microtransactions, with mobile gaming obviously being what's expanding, what's happening in the gaming industry in terms of revenue. And EA is one of the companies that capitalized on that the most with their FIFA Ultimate Team and with Madden, with all of their mobile games. They have one of the most lucrative mobile games of all time, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, etc. And they were thinking, you know what we're going to do? We're going to double down. And we are going to take our big AAA Star Wars release, Star Wars Battlefront 2, and we are going to cram that full of microtransactions. We're going to get on this loot box craze. We're going to monetize this game in the same way that we monetized our mobile games, because that's going to work out, right? The launch was so botched, it changed how the entire industry is going to work now. Can you guys cover the botch itself? And then I'd like to cover the aftermath from this. But just break down the botch for us in very basic and simple terms for us, if you could.
Primarily loot boxes that were designed to open up and improve your character. So they weren't cosmetic necessarily. I mean, I think there was some cosmetic with it, but it was pay to win. Like you would have to pay to access loot boxes to become better than the competition. And this is what every gamer feared at the time. The pay to win was a phrase that was very, very common because most gamers were scared that games in this type of vein would allow players to pay to win. So anybody who was going to grind or earn their way up, it doesn't really matter because someone who had money could just pay and just get ahead of you anyway. That was the fear. And the fear came true for the first time, for sure. And this was so early on with loot boxes that I think every gamer thought this was going to be the way things were from now on.
Yeah.
If EA proved this is a concept, then every other game developer who wanted to make money was going to go towards microtransactions. And we all knew that they were all eyeing up microtransactions. If this worked for them, then every game was going to do it, and every game was going to suddenly become pay to win. And it was a scary thing.
It's a fair fear to have back then. Obviously, we know now that the government got involved, or they were preparing to get involved. So I don't think it would have lasted. But what would have happened if, like, exactly what you said, Perrin, and then they said, okay, well, this does work. We're going to keep doing it. And then other studios are like, we don't care about the fan feedback. We need the money. We're going to do it.
If the money's there, they're going to do it, right, Ross?
Yeah, it was fair to have that fear for gamers.
That's true. And one other thing I wanted to highlight here, that was the thing that the straw that broke the camel's back, was that they locked Darth Vader behind 15,000 credits of you could, and the marketing was all about how you can earn everything in the game, but you had to get 15,000 credits in order to get Darth Vader. And when somebody calculated it, it was like $230 or something to buy those credits. Or when you looked at the gameplay grind, you had to like play for like 30 to 40 hours or something stupid like that to actually earn Darth Vader. Once people saw that, they're like, hold on a second. I bought a Star Wars game and I have to play for dozens of hours to earn the most popular character and or pay hundreds of dollars to just straight up buy it. And most importantly, anyone could just pay hundreds of dollars and get that. You want to talk about power. Unlocking a hero in Battlefront games is just buying power, right? The heroes are by far the most powerful characters. They're as powerful as like a dozen soldier characters all in one. Just buying Darth Vader is preposterous. And so the aftermath I was referring to earlier, hold on a second. You have the breakdown on the numbers. Can you break down the actual numbers here for us, Perrin? It's just so disgusting.
So this is for Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker. Their current price was 60,000 credits, which I think was around $20. Or you can unlock it by playing 40 hours of gameplay. So that was like the equivalent. And YouTubers and gamers like went through this and calculated how quickly someone and how much they'd have to pay to beat someone who was just grinding. And it got to the point where like if you were trying to play the game and not pay money, there was just no point, because the ratio in which you got power just by spending some money was far superior than just playing the game normally. And so it became a game that was all about paying to play the game, pay to win, of course. And everybody hated it, and there was a backlash, et cetera, et cetera. And so much so that EA had to come out and say, we're sorry.
We're sorry. We got a comment.
Wrong.
We were wrong. We got a comment here from the community. Casual Nerd Jason says, I love how they turned around Star Wars Battlefront 2. They unlocked everything for a couple years ago, and then it was great with practically no progression left, and it's a balancing act. So I agree with that, and this is a redemption story, I guess you could say, with Star Wars Battlefront 2. But was it really? So what I have to say about that is, thank you for that comment. This botch was so bad with Star Wars Battlefront 2, it ended
the sense of pride and accomplishment. We forgot the sense of pride.
Oh, the sense of pride and accomplishment. Oh my God, we totally forgot that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Break this down for us. No, go ahead.
This is probably the biggest part of this blunder. And this was the community, the EA's community team response. And they're talking about why they did this, why they had it this way. And their response was, the intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment.
I forgot.
Heroes.
I forgot about this. Pride and guys, do you feel pride and accomplishment when you have to play 40 hours to unlock Darth Vader? You're right.
So yeah, that's the joke. That's the meme. In fact, you'll still see this today sometimes be a meme that people will refer to, even outside of gaming. This is
I totally forgot.
Most downvoted Reddit post of all time.
It is
with 667,000 downvotes here, if you can see. So it still holds the record, I believe, for the most downvoted post of all time. People will still come back to this 3 years later and downvote it just to say, screw you, EA.
You're right, it is. Gosh, thank you for that bonus nugget at the end. But wait, leave that post up. There's more. And this is another reason why it's the worst PR disaster of all time. Not only did it get the worst downvotes ever, not only was the botch so bad that it killed the Battlefront franchise. The franchise is over. There's no Battlefront games in development. Everybody working on Battlefront has now been moved over to Battlefield. But wait, there's more. Now governments in Europe, Belgium, the UK, and other governments in Europe are now regulating microtransactions and loot boxes and now classifying EA's entire business model as gambling, impacting the entire gaming industry. Also, there's senators here in the United States that are looking into this that have proposed legislation to regulate loot boxes and to classify them as gambling. Now, what are the implications of that? The implications are the vast majority of EA's revenue and the vast majority of revenue growth in the entire gaming industry is now going to be considered gambling. That is bad for business. What do you think, guys? I mean, I can't think of a worse possible botch. The community reaction was, oh, here you go. Here's an article for you guys to check out. Video game loot boxes declared illegal under Belgium gambling laws. That was 2 years ago. It's gone further than this. UK has held hearings for this. And they, in these BS legal hearings, EA actually had the gall to call their own loot boxes and what they were doing. They weren't loot boxes, guys. What were they called? Did you guys hear the euphemism they used for loot boxes? You guys are going to get a rise out of this.
I don't recall what they were.
No.
They were called surprise mechanics. Surprise mechanics
Right.
is the correct answer.
Surprise! You have to pay money now.
Surprise mechanics.
Surprise mechanics. I swear to God, this is EA's head legal counsel sitting in front of United Kingdom's legislation saying, we prefer not to use the term loot boxes. We prefer to use the term surprise mechanics. So there you go. And they went on to say, boys, that players, they're actually doing it for the players. Players actually enjoy the surprise mechanics. Similar, I swear to God, this is what their head lawyer said. Similar to how you open a surprise Kinder egg. Kids love surprises.
They also get a sense of pride and accomplishment.
Kids love surprises. So let's put, it's so rich. It's so rich. Guys, those are the worst marketing blunders of all time. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm going to ask you this one time. Leave in the comments below on the YouTube version of this, what do you think was the worst of all these blunders? Just put it below. Thank you so much for watching.